Mr. Hadi Farajvand is the Iranian ambassador in the Netherlands. I had an exclusive interview with him at the Iranian embassy in Den Haag. On 28 February 2026, the US and Israel started a war against Iran. What is the view of the Iranian side in this conflict? What really happened at the bloody demonstrations on 8 and 9 January? How much damage is there in Iran? Is Iran prepared to stop the nuclear program? What can be the result of negotiations? You know that Black Box is dependent on your donations, and I hope you will support us. And I want to thank you very much for your contribution.
Mr. Farajvand, first I want to thank you for your hospitality here at the Iranian embassy. And in the upcoming interview, I want to give you the possibility to explain the Iranian position in the war with the US and Israel. But first, for the audience, I like to ask you, what is your personal background and your personal career in Iranian diplomacy?
Yes, thank you very much for giving this opportunity to express ourselves and the position of the Islamic Republic of Iran. I entered into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1992. And so far I was posted first in the Netherlands in 1997 to 2000, and next posting I was ambassador in Poland, and the third posting I was ambassador of Iran to the Republic of Kenya, and also Iranian representative to UNEP and the United Nations Habitat.
I heard...
and after that, now I am ambassador of Iran in the Netherlands and representation of Iran to the OPCW and other international organization based in Den Haag.
I heard your colleague told me that you are from Kurdish background.
Yes.
That's right?
Yes, I have PhD in political science. I have been also instructor in the School of International Relations affiliated to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Right. And it's important as well that you want to say that the Kurdish population is fully integrated in the Iranian state.
Yes. There is no discrimination about different minority, or regardless of ethnic minority or religious minority. We all consider ourselves Iranian. We have been Iranian since 3,000, 4,000, even 5,000 years. And our culture, our language, our religious, everything is consistent with the whole nation, and therefore there is no discrimination. And in political level or in social level,
right,
and all Kurdish are fully, as you said, integrated in Iranian society.
Yeah. They are in fact a different ethnic group with a different language.
Yes.
But you communicate, the 92 million people in Iran communicate mainly in Farsi.
Yes, yes.
Right. I want to ask you something about the Iranian diaspora, especially in Holland. There are 59,000 Iranians in Holland. Part of them are pro-governments, but as you know, tens of thousands are refugees. Some are Republicans and some are supporters of the old Shah, Reza Pahlavi. How do you how do you consider these people? What do you want to say to these fierce critics against the Iranian state?
As you said, there is quite a number of Iranians living in the Netherlands. You said 59,000. We consider it even more. We think it must be around 65,000. More than 60,000 files we have in our consular section. It means up to now 60,000 Iranian refer to the embassy for doing anything in our consular section. And we anticipate that there must be around 5,000 that they never refer to the embassy. Out of these 60 or 65,000 Iranian, we have quite a small number of people that's as you call it opposition or supporter of
The Shah?
Shah King, son, sorry.
Yeah.
Late Shah or King son, Reza Pahlavi. In different gathering or demonstration in front of the embassy or in the center of city, Den Haag, and in Amsterdam and some other area, we never heard that the gathering amounted more than 150 or 200.
Right.
150 or 200. And therefore, I am telling you, these 150 or 200 maximum cannot represent 60,000 Iranian that they usually and ordinarily come to the embassy. They receive different consular services. They travel to Iran, and all of them, I mean, more 60,000. They have Iranian passport.
Okay, so
it means that they don't have any problem going back to Iran and coming back to the Netherlands. And actually, they are going and visiting their families in Iran and coming back to the Netherlands. They live in the Netherlands. They study in the Netherlands. They have been graduated in the Netherlands. They have some businesses in the Netherlands. Therefore, it's understandable that they live in the Netherlands like other diaspora in other country from the other.
What you say is that in fact the group who is against the government, the Iranian government, is in fact a very small group.
Yes, it's a very small group, and at utmost effort that they did to get gathering in Amsterdam somewhere, the number was not exceeded more than 200.
Right. I want to go back with you to the Shah regime, right? The Western conflicts, the conflict between the West, especially the US and the UK and Iran, is decades old. After the British colonization, they settled the Shah in 1925. And this regime, Father Shah and Son Shah, the Pahlavi dynasty, stayed there for more than 50 years. How do you consider these periods in the Iranian history, and how do you consider the Shah regime?
Yes, actually the father of Shah, the first Reza Pahlavi, was supported by the British government at that time, and they helped him to make a coup, actually, in Iran. He was head of army, and he made a coup. Then he called himself prime minister. After a while, under the force of the first Pahlavi, he forced the parliament that they change the kingdom from Qajar to Pahlavi, and then he became king.
He was not a king. He was not coming out of the aristocracy.
No.
He was not part of a family.
He was an ordinary soldier.
He was an ordinary soldier.
Yeah. Then gradually he get promotion, and then he became a chief of army. And after chief of army, he made a coup. First of all, he didn't represent himself as a prime minister or a king. He supported a man to be as a prime minister and forced the parliament to vote for him. And after a while, he started pushing for the parliament, pushing the parliament for his own interest. And then under his pressure, the parliament voted for change from the Qajar, which the Ahmad Shah, the last king of Qajar dynasty. Then they said, okay, the era of Qajar dynasty is over. Now we start with the Pahlavi. He wasn't the king. He wasn't from aristocracy, and he wasn't from even a big family or a big aristocracy club in Iran. And then in the Second World War, the British and Russian authorities pushed him to. Actually, they pushed him to leave the country, and in the fact, he was in exile until his death, and his son, which was very young, the second Reza Pahlavi, became the king, and he was under support by British and then the United States. But after the British left the Persian Gulf area and handed over actually the power to the United States after the Second World War, then the King Reza Pahlavi relation with the United States become more and more stronger. And then
he suppressed what is important as well. In 1953, there was a prime minister, Mr. Mossadegh, who wanted to nationalize the petrol industry.
He did.
And he was thrown away by the Shah.
Yeah, because at that time he nationalized the oil, which was dominated by the British Petroleum Company.
Yeah.
At that time, even the United States didn't support Mossadegh. Mossadegh was very hopeful that he will be supported by the United States, but unfortunately, the United States didn't support Mossadegh. And the British and the United States made a coup, mainly the coup. The idea of the coup was posed by British and was adopted by the United States and carried out mainly by the United States in Iran.
Right.
And they toppled the Prime Minister Mossadegh and bring back the king, second Reza Pahlavi.
Right. How would you define this rule by the Pahlavis, this Shah rule? It's not a democracy, right?
No, it wasn't a democracy. Fortunately, I am old enough to say that I was living in the Pahlavis era,
right,
and I clearly understand that what was the situation at that time. There was no real parliament. There was no real election. There was no freedom of speeches and parties. And later on, he convened one party and said, everybody has to come to in my party. If not, then they have to leave the country.
Right.
The media, all the things were dominated by the government. There was only two newspapers. All these two newspapers were belong to the government. No party, but today we have more than 10 parties in the country. We have more than 50 newspapers, and
You have 10 parties in the parliament and 50 newspapers.
More than 50 newspapers and some websites and all these things.
Of course. Then we come in 1979. That's the Islamic Revolution. What happened in 79, and how would you describe the success of the Islamic Revolution after this sharp period?
I was at that time a student. I used to participate in daily demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
The revolution was very fast because people really had difficulty living under the dictatorship of Reza Pahlavi.
Mm-hmm.
The economic situation was not good, actually, and because the freedom suppression and also even religious suppression by the King Reza, the people wanted him to be his government to be toppled. They really, every cities, even every villages in the country engage in demonstration, daily demonstration. The army, the military, they are not so loyal to him because they also are part of the nation, also the country. Although the United States and some other countries supported him, but he couldn't resist anymore, and he preferred to flee the country. And after that, Ayatollah Khomeini came back to the country, and in 10 days, he convened a transitional government, and all ministries surrounded to the authorities from his transitional government. And the king's authority and the Shah authority ministers could do nothing because even in their ministry, nobody take their order. They took the order of the Ayatollah Khomeini's nominees for.
Right.
Yeah.
Then after that, the Islamic State, under the leadership or the spiritual leadership of Ayatollah Khomeini, was settled. How democratic is Iran now? And can you give some examples of that?
Yes. Actually, today we have different election in the country. Every 4 years we have election of president. President is directly elected by the people.
That's now Mr.
Pezeshkian, yes.
Yes.
The member of parliament are directly elected by the people.
Mm.
We have expeditive council, the member of expeditive council that they have a role in nominating the leader and supervising the leader, supreme leader activity. They are also directly elected by the people. We have city councils member that they are also directly elected by the people. The city council, each city has its own city council, consistent of 5 to 30 members. For instance, in big cities like Tehran, 30. And the issue of municipality and all these things is considered by this. We have from the level of a city, running a city council, until it comes to the whole country and the nation as a whole. All we have election, the people are free to elect their representative.
And what is because people have the idea that the country is ruled by the council of ayatollahs under the leadership of Khamenei. What is in fact his role of this council of the spiritual leaders?
The country is ruled by the cabinet, a president and his ministers,
right,
and deputy president, first deputy president we call it.
That is in fact
Ayatollah Ayatollahs has no role in the cabinet.
Right.
All ministers is appointed by the minister Pezeshkian and approved by the parliament. If you look at the cabinet, you don't see more than one, sometimes two Ayatollah out of 30. Then how it is ruled by the Ayatollah when they have minimum role, I mean, representation in the cabinet. Judiciary is ruled by Ayatollah because based on constitution, Iranian law system is Islamic law, and therefore the one that should or could head the judiciary system has to be Ayatollah because he is to be professional in understanding the Islamic law. The parliament is also based on people wish. Sometimes people elect Ayatollah, sometimes no. If you look at the parliament right now, we have around 300 MP member of parliament. I don't think we have more than 15 or 20 Ayatollah in the parliament.
Right.
And then how the whole country is ruled by Ayatollah, I don't understand. I think the problem is that they do not or they didn't study our constitution to see we really have three powers in place and they are independent from each other: judiciary, parliament, and the government.
Right. That's in fact the European system of democracy, right?
Yeah.
That's the same system. This is what you claim.
But with another arrangement, we do not go for the same arrangement in Europe. We have election for the member of parliament, like Europe. We have judiciary system like Europe.
Right.
But the parliament is directly elected by people. President is directly elected by people. Judiciary, the head of judiciary is appointed by supreme leader. It's not exactly through the same mechanism that it's identical to the other democracy in the world, but it's not the same.
Right. But there are different forms.
We have different kind of democracy. Democracy is not implemented only in one way or one rule direction.
Right. What is important as well is from the beginning in 1979, the West, especially the United States, opposed the sitting government, and this was leading to the Western embargo. What happened? What is the result of this embargo? Why is this embargo, and what is the result of it?
The embargo imposed on Iran because the United States and in some way the West, they lost important ally in the region. Iran was a big ally for the United States, for the West in the region. The country's revenue and economy and politics were completely under supervision by the United States. But after revolution, Iran was independent. Iran wanted to be ruled by its own authority, not getting instruction from the outside. Iran had a unique and independent position with regard to the international issues like issue of Palestine, like some other issues in the world. And the United States and Europe realized that Iran is not the same Iran that was in the past. And tried to, they said they are trying to change the behavior. But really from the beginning, they started to change the regime. They encouraged Saddam Hussein to attack Iran. They supported Saddam Hussein during 8 years' war. They gave him political, technical, military, and financial support in hope that the Saddam Hussein can defeat Iran and collapse the Islamic Republic. But when they understood that Saddam is unable to defeat the country, I mean, any country that has a revolution, they say, the socialists say it's very hard to defeat a country with a revolution. Then they started, even during the war, pushing heavy embargo on Iran, economic restriction, financial sanctions, in order to weaken the government and in hope that the people gets unsatisfied with the regime, and then they start to change from internal and external pressure. It didn't happen during these 40 years. They continue with that. But what embargo did with our country, it has two faces. One, it has the embargo has created difficulty for us, but at the same time, it was benefited us. As I told you, I was a very young student during the revolution, and before, I had the chance to live during Shah era. At that time, everything was imported from outside, like Persian Gulf countries today. We selling the oil, giving them the money, and bring everything from the outside to the inside, from dairy production, from industrial production, from car and everything, clothes manufacturing, everything. We gave them money, and they gave us these stuff. But after revolution, because they put embargo on us, then we had no choice other than to start building those things for ourselves. And you see, during these 47 years, Iran changed from underdeveloped country to a developed country.
Yeah.
Now we produce everything. Before revolution, one example, before revolution, 99% of medicine was imported into the country. Now, 99% of medicine that we need, we introduce it in our country.
Right.
We are occupying first 10 in nanotechnology, in biotechnology, in nuclear technology, in car manufacturing.
So
that was a result of the sanction.
Yeah. So you want to say that, in fact, the last 47 years, there's a tremendous industrialization and more education in Iran.
Definitely.
As never before.
Definitely. You can look at the international figure.
Right. What is a problem for a lot of people in the West? The eyes has to do with the position of the women. They have the view, the Western countries have the view that women are much oppressed in Iran and doesn't have possibilities. How do you react on that?
I'm asking those that believe that women are oppressed in Iran, how it's happened when 60% of university students are women.
60% of university students are women, and only 40% is men.
And yes, and do you know what does it mean? It means that when they graduate from university, they have to be incorporated in the internal job market.
Right.
And if you go in Iran, in every places, from services section to industry section to some other, you see a lot of women working in very high position in the country. The women occupation now is around 30%. The level very near to some European countries.
30% women, 70% men.
Yes.
In the occupation.
Yes. Then how is it oppressed? And if you go to Tehran, you see more than 60% cars are driven by the women.
60%.
More than 60%. If you see in the sit in the Tehran and look at the cars commuting,
They are driving. They are
yes,
driving
more
by
than
women.
yeah.
Well, people are very much concentrated on the hijab, right? On the scars. Is that obliged? What is the position of the scarf?
The scarf, based on regulation and based on Islamic law,
Right.
any Muslim or claims that he is Muslim has to have a scarf,
Right.
and even according to the law. But today, the government facilitates this issue as well.
Right.
Now, if you go to Tehran, you see some people have a scarf, some people doesn't have. Last night, I was watching our TV, and the TV program was taken from a big supermarket,
Right.
a mall,
Right.
and I just witnessing live from the supermarket and lab. Some women had scarves, some of them doesn't.
Right.
Therefore, although based on law, they have to have a scarf, but today that law is not completely observed by people and also enforced by the government.
So what you say formally, they have, they need to wear a scarf, but in practice, a lot of women, especially younger women, don't have scarf or only a little scarf.
Yes. But the issue of women is not only scarf. The women are in Iran occupy very high level in the family, in the society.
Right.
As you let me just give you an example. I am from a small city, Kurdistan.
Right.
Our city, my hometown had 15,000 population before revolution, and now it has 60,000 people. Still small city.
Right.
Okay. My father was a farmer he migrated from village to city.
Right.
And I have 4 sisters. 3 of them are teachers.
Really?
3 of them are teachers.
Right.
And only one of them doesn't have an official job.
Right.
She preferred not to go to have a job. She preferred to stay home and take care of his family and children.
Right.
And then how it is possible that in a family with 3 girls go to school, went to the high school and even university, graduated from school and university, and became a teacher in the society.
I want to go with you to the war. And the war was in fact starting, the war which we have now, right? At 8 and 9 January 2026. In the Western media, and as well in international studies, Iran is accused of brutal oppression with mass killing of even, as they say, 30,000 people against peaceful demonstrations. What happened, in fact, in Iran's view on the 8 and 9 January? Because I know that Iran has a different view on what is presented here in the West. What happened?
Yes. Actually, in January demonstration in Iran, first of all, the demonstration and protest was very peaceful by different part of society, by teachers society association, by retired association, and the government saying that they recognize they're legitimate and they are legitimate. They recognize their right, but in 2-3 days later, after 10 days, the demonstration was turned to violation and riots. By the influence from the outside, President Trump said get to the street, I'm coming. The help is coming. Actually, after that we saw how the help was. There was encouragement from the outside that to turn the peaceful demonstration to violent. They started destroying public centers, schools, bus stations, metro station. They tried to attack police headquarters and take the guns. And they attacked people and the police headquarters by the gun. In which country, I mean, even the European country, Western country, they tolerate any kind of demonstration that the people using gun against ordinary people and police.
Of course. Even the mayor of Tehran explained that there were 62 mosques who were burning.
Yes.
Right. What do you think is happening? What's happening? I mean, it was almost a civil war, and you say that some parties are behind that. You mean that the Western countries were behind that? Americans, Israeli were behind that?
We know for sure that American and Israelis were behind that, because not only we know that, we have evidence that they were behind that. Even they themselves confessed that they were behind that.
And then you mean the CIA and the Mossad?
Yes, exactly. The Israelis official prime minister or minister of intelligence said the Mossad agents are on the street in Tehran alongside with the demonstration, and a lot of gun and explosive seized by police from the demonstrators and violators shows that they prepared for an internal war. And the number of casualty is not 30,000, is totally wrong. It was 3,200 maximum, and quite a number of them were police and ordinary people.
Right.
And the issue clearly was stated by the government that it is 3,160, I think.
Well, the official number I read was 3,117.
Yeah, and Pezeshkian,
right.
President Pezeshkian and the spokesman for the president and cabinet clearly said, if anybody has any evidence that the number is more than that, please bring the document.
Yeah.
And
no,
evidence.
But I accept the number. I mean, we agree on the fact that more than 3,000 people is still, I mean, a tremendous lot of people. I mean, this is a tremendous tragedy with a lot of dead people. And I think it is very important to explain how this could happen. And you said something about it. You want to say that the Western secret services, the Mossad and the CIA, organized this coup, this aggression, this violence. Is this what you say?
Exactly, because they gave them the gun, they gave them the support, they encouraged them, and they gave the signal, if the number of casualty increases, we are going to intervene. And President Trump said that if the government of Iran shoots the people, I will intervene. And therefore, the Mossad and CIA and some others try to increase the number of casualty in the hope that Trump will intervene.
Right.
And out of 3,160 or 170,
right.
There was quite a number of police and ordinary people. And there are evidence and movies, the camera, CCTV cameras that for the shops, shows clear that the people, that those armed people shooting ordinary people in the street in the hope that it will be counted on the government's and the Trump will intervene.
Right. So you want to say that these people
And Reza Pahlavi,
as well shoot normal demonstration people?
Yeah, just I'm telling the Western media, if you people with arm and gun go to should attack a police station and police headquarters, then police just
shooting back, of course.
Yeah, it's correct.
Yeah, right. Then we go to the beginning of the war. At the 28th of February, the war started with Israeli and American bombardments. When you look to it political and juridical, how do you view it? This is the beginning of the war.
This war is against the United Nations Charter. It's against any international law and norms and regulation. There was no single reason for and legitimacy for these two to attack Iran. And unfortunately, they attacked Iran amid of nuclear negotiation, even before. We were discussing with the Americans about our nuclear program, and in negotiation, Iran put on the table very constructive and proposal. But the negotiation was a critique to prolong the preparation for initiating new war by United States and Israel. And they left the table of negotiation without saying anything. I mean, the other day they attacked Iran. The only reason for the Israelis and the United States to attack Iran is they had the intention to topple the government of the Iran and to kill the supreme leader and quite number of high authority and commander, and they thought maybe with eliminating these people, the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran collapsed because there is nobody to rule. They destroyed everywhere. They destroyed all police headquarters, even in my home city, a small city. They destroyed many governmental buildings. They destroyed hospitals. They destroyed mosques. They destroyed.
Can you name some numbers? I mean, some numbers.
Just one number regarding school. Just right now, I saw it on the TV. 1,200 schools have been destroyed. 1,200 schools.
Right.
Just look at the power plants, chemical, petrochemical. Even they destroyed the bridges. They destroyed the railroads, and but they thought that with this, the government of Islamic Republic of Iran and the whole regime will collapse, and they maybe hand it over to somebody else or the son of Shah.
You're right. What was the role Reza Pahlavi, the son of the Shah, played in the 8th and 9th January?
He had a great role in encouraging people for raping the police station and governmental building. I myself, even listening to his speech on TV, he all the time he was encouraging people go and occupy the governmental buildings and police station. He was encouraging people to I mean, his supporter to in the hope that to increase the number of casualty, and in the hope that the Trump will intervene and topple the government of Islamic of Iran and just say, okay, please, Reza Pahlavi, come to Iran and rule the country.
On the first day, the 28th of February, Ayatollah Khamenei was killed and part of his family was as well. How did Iran react on that? And maybe you can take as well that his son, Mojtaba Khamenei, is the new head of state.
Yes.
Western media said he was severely wounded and misses a leg. What is his present condition?
I know that he has been injured during the bombardment because he was almost in the same building that Supreme Leader bombed and killed. But it's not the way that he cannot implement his duty. About the extent of injury, there are a lot of misinformation, but the things that we have is that he's under medical treatment and he will be okay soon.
Right. And in fact, he is doing his duties. Can you say that he's in fact on the head of the military and the foreign affairs? Can you say that, or
No,
is that not true?
No, it's not true.
Who's deciding, let's say, the foreign policy, and who's making the main decisions in this war?
Exactly like the same. Before Ayatollah Khamenei, all the important issues in the country is decided through a very, how should say, sophisticated, well-established mechanism. It's not only by one person or two or three. No, we have National Security Supreme Council, which most important national security issue and political issue is considered by member of that council, and also Supreme Leader has representative in the council. He's not in the council, but he has some representative on the council. The president is not member of the council, but the representative of the president is head or speaker of the council. All these things is considered in the council in interaction with different sections. If the issue comes to a very highly sensitive political issue, it's dealt in this council with very close collaboration with, for instance, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. If the issue comes to the economy, it is dealt in the council with close collaboration with the Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Industry, and Central Bank. All these things, because I have been also working in that council, I know how it's working. Our system is not based on one person or two person. It's based on a very well-established, as I said, and very sophisticated mechanism, intergovernmental mechanism within the country.
So what is important to suppress is that you say it's in fact the government who's deciding, and the president of the government is the president with the parliament, and the influence of the council of ayatollahs is in fact, it is there, but it is not deciding about war and peace. Is this what you say?
The decision on war and peace is based on deliberation and recommendation of the National Supreme Security National Supreme Council.
Right.
As I said, in collaboration with different governmental, non-governmental section, and the decision is done by that, but it gets approval from the president or the supreme leader as well.
Right. But it is not.
It's not necessary all the time. They get
right. There is a discussion between these groups and these persons.
Yes.
And you can't say the supreme leader, Mr. Mojtaba Khamenei, is in the driver's seat. You can't say that.
No, it cannot be, and it's not the case.
Okay. Then, when the war started, directly, Iran was giving a response, right? And it attacked with drones and rockets the Arab states at the Persian Gulf. What legitimation do you want to give for that actions?
We didn't attack our neighbors, Arab states in Persian Gulf. We attacked United States bases in their country.
Right.
The United States has built several bases through 45 years. The main purpose of establishing those bases is for using those bases to control or attack Iran. And in fact, they attacked Iran mainly from those bases. The missile that hit a school in Minab and killed 170 students was launched from Saudi Arabia.
Right. Then, so the American bases used to attack Iran, with rockets and with airplanes.
Yes. Then it is legitimate target for us to attack those bases and destroy those bases. Even today, there are Americans living in those and operating in these bases.
Right. There is a lot of damage. You told already before. Maybe you can give a kind of idea how big the damage from the bombardments of the Israelis and the Americans is. How much damage is there in Iran at the moment?
It's too big. The government issued some figures, as I said today. I've heard that 1,200, 180, around 1,200 schools only be destroyed. Several mosques, bridges, railways, several hospitals. I think more than 30,000 houses. Many, almost, we can say all military bases, police station. It's the damage that occurred is too big, and really chemicals, petrochemicals. I know gas fields, oil fields, all refineries.
Right. There's a lot of discussion. How much damage is there at the military sites? Because Mr. Trump is claiming that everything is away.
No, we prepared ourselves, not today or yesterday, for war with United States and Israelis, because we have been under threat by United States and Israel since the revolution, and therefore the military structure and plans was designed in a way that can survive under this heavily attack. And although we can say yes, our military bases or our military capability have been hit by the United States, but the main sources and forces of our military have been kept operational.
So the main thing is still there. Then I want to ask you something about the Dutch media. How do you look to the reporting of the West and especially the Dutch media?
Actually, not Dutch media. I can say really almost most of the European countries' media are fed by the medias that belongs to the United States,
Right.
And Dutch media mainly pay attention to internal affairs of the Netherlands rather than the...
No, but considering the war, right?
But when it comes to the international issues, they see the events from the eyes and glasses of the Americans media. They do not, I believe, do not attempt to get first-handed information by themselves. They mainly quote from the other international media that are based in the United States or belong to the United States.
Right. So you see them as, for a great part as well, the European media, especially the Dutch media, as the long arm of the American media.
I can say they are long arm of American media. I'm not saying that, but maybe they are small, maybe they don't have capacity, maybe they are not willing to get first-hand news, actually, the reality, to be underground, we are ready to send people, if they are willing, to Tehran to take in different occasions first-hand reports. And as you say that they say the women are oppressed in Iran, it's really wondering if somebody lives in Iran for a while and lives with the society and see the reality, he will never say that the women in Iran are oppressed. But if you look at the media by the United States and Israelis, and all the time they repeat these things, and media in the other parts of the world mainly quoting from them. I have experience of 30 years before when I was here. There was a NGO writing about Iran nuclear program because as I said, in 1997 till 2000, I was here in the embassy. I was a young diplomat. Then I decided to go and talk to the editor or chief of editor general. He was in Amsterdam. I went and talked to him and said, okay, I had an article with him. So this article you write about Iran nuclear is wrong. He said, from where you get this information? But he said, I just get the information from Western media and just...
That's it.
After that, we arranged for him. He traveled to Iran, and then he had several visits in Tehran. He changed.
Right. For the US and as well for the European countries, the nuclear bomb ambitions of Iran are the main reason for the US war. Is Iran willing to stop their nuclear weapon program?
We never had any nuclear weapon program, and we don't have. The issue has been clearly stated by IAEA in several occasions that Iran's nuclear program has not been diverted from peacefulness of the program. Based on our Islamic thought, the weapons of mass destruction, because doesn't discriminate among military and non-military, are prohibited, and based on Islamic decree or Islamic fatwa by late Ayatollah Khamenei, the using and production of weapons of mass destruction, including nuclear weapon, is prohibited, and Iran never opted for building a nuclear weapon. And with regard to the military and security also, we don't believe that the nuclear weapon can be useful and can be used, actually. It was used only by the United States during the Second World War, and it has never been used again. And we believe that the capacity of nuclear weapon and the international law and international opinion are in a way that they do not let anybody to use nuclear weapon, and therefore spending on nuclear weapon doesn't have any economy.
Okay. So one of the things you say that even the late Ali Khamenei, Ayatollah, said that there was a can I say, there was a fatwa against the making of a nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
the producing.
he made a fatwa. Yeah.
Then we go more to the end, and I want to ask you something about the negotiations. There were talks in Islamabad. Mr. Vance, the vice president of the Americans, walked away, and he said that it was not possible to make a deal. And for him, he said that the reason was that the president of the parliament didn't agree with the fact that they would promise that you, Iran, wouldn't promise to make a nuclear bomb. Is that the case?
No, it's not true.
That's not
we have said clearly in several occasions we are ready to accept any arrangement or any kind of verification that makes sure that Iran will not divert its nuclear peaceful program for a military program.
Right.
We said we are ready to accept. We are open to accept. We are open to any proposal or suggestion that make sure that Iran will not go for nuclear military program. But according to the NPT, the right of enrichment is a legitimate right. We have power plants, one in Tehran, a small one. The other one is Bushehr. We are building some other nuclear power plants, two of them still under construction. Even based on the Shah plan, at that time we're supposed to build 20 nuclear power plants.
The Shah already said that they wanted to build 20 nuclear power plants in the 70s.
Yeah, it was competition between Germany, France, and the United States to build power plant for Iran.
Right.
It was competition for them to build enrichment plants for Iran.
Right. When you look to the Iranian position, which is called the 10-point plan, and you look to the American demands, which they call the 15-point plan, what do you think is the possibility to end the conflict, and what can be the ending of this conflict?
For us, keeping our right, right to enrichment is very important. We are not ready to abandon our rights. I think if the United States recognize our rights for the enrichment of uranium, for our power plant, for our research reactor in Tehran, for other power plants that we are going to build in future, and in return, we are ready to accept any kind of verification that makes sure that the supervision of IAEA on our nuclear activity is kept, and our nuclear program will not be diverted for the non-peaceful purposes. We are flexible on that, but we are not flexible to abandon our rights for enrichment.
Right.
The
problem with that is that Iran said by itself that there were 400 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60%, right? That's far above. That's not enough for a bomb, but it is far above what is needed for the nuclear fuel for enrichment for civil services.
The enrichment for up to 60% was done because of the United States withdrawal from the nuclear deal. When President Trump came to the power for the first time. But we said that we are ready in any deal to also put this on the table for negotiation. One way is to dilute the 60% uranium to 3.6, for instance, which is useful for nuclear power plant. There are several ways and proposals to consider this issue. But one thing that the United States wants us to do is just give us 60% enriched uranium, and next day we bomb you again.
Right. So it is as well, you say, you're prepared when you make a deal and the US gives you the possibility to make it lower from 60% to 3.6, which you need for civil services. There was even, I read this, even Mr. Putin from Russia said, well, there is a possibility as well that they stall it here.
Yeah, I've heard that Russia said is ready to store that uranium in Russia, but it depends on negotiations. But the things that the United States asking us to do is that give us 60% enriched uranium and just open the Strait of Hormuz, and then next day we bomb you again.
Right. So, it is as well a question of trust.
Yeah.
You need more security.
Yes, actually, in any kind of deal, it must be tit for tat deal.
Yeah. I understand. There's one aspect we forgot, and I want to ask you, the role of Israel in this war. How do you react on that?
I mean, the main actors behind the war was Israel, and because this war doesn't benefit the United States at all, but it was the things that Netanyahu wanted for a long time. Even today, you see that different United States officials in the past say that even during their term of office, Netanyahu, Israeli regime, was pushing the United States to enter into a war with Iran, but none of those United States presidents accepted that unless President Trump.
Right. You got the feeling that Mr. Trump is
manipulated by Netanyahu.
Is manipulated by Netanyahu, and then he's pulled into a kind of atmosphere which is very bad, not only for Iran, but as well for America and himself.
Yes, there was no...
He's trapped.
There was no single threat from Iran to the United States. And why the United States attacked Iran?
Mr. Farajvand, what do you think has to come out of these negotiations? Do you have good hope for the fact that there can be a deal the coming weeks?
We hope, but we are not optimistic because we didn't trust the United States before. But after these two wars, that's, as I said, unleashed during the negotiation was even worse, worsening our trust.
Mm.
We enter into negotiation with a good will, but at the same time we don't trust the other side, the United States, because in two cases, as I said to you before, they betrayed diplomacy and negotiation. We hope, but we do not trust. This is my understanding.
Well, is there a possibility maybe that other countries, like the Chinese, the Russians, the Europeans, can help with a kind of the Arabs can help with a kind of settlement in which there's more settlement has more possibilities to hold between Iran on one side and the Americans and the Israelis on the other side? Can the rest of the world help by making a deal? How?
Yes, any kind of help is welcome by as you said, the rest of the world. But I think the big help from the other countries like European countries or Persian Gulf countries or neighboring countries is that to make President Trump understand that this war is not going to finish with Iranian defeat. Iran has 7,000 years of civilization and 3,000 written history. And Trump has to talk to Iranian nation with respect, and then respect our rights, respect our legitimacy to have access to nuclear energy, respect our rights for other things that we are requesting, and come to the negotiation table with a respectful position for Iran, for Iranian nation, and understanding and confirming our rights. I think this is the big help if they want, the European and the other countries do, and bring the Trump to the reality that he cannot achieve any kind of its goals during military exercise against Iran.
Mr. Farajvand, I want to thank you very much for
Thank you.
this interview.
Thank you very much. Thank you.